What is going on, Nuggets Nation NBA fans? My name is Tom Leuthner. Welcome back in to Nuggets today, presented by FanArch. We have some topics to cover, so the first thing I want to hop into here is the fact that the Charlotte Hornets are set to officially buy out Josh Okogie, and that is supposed to happen at some point this week, per obviously reports. So I think that Denver should take a look, right? There's certain reasons I break down Denver taking a look, and I've gotten into some conversations, some arguments where people were saying that he wouldn't be a good fit in Denver because he's a defender and not a shooter. And listen, I'm not saying that Aaron Gordon wasn't a shooter per se, but when you look at his stats and you look at the increase in his shooting percentage, especially this year around Nikola Jokic, it truly is amazing. Now, Okogie's a pretty good player. I mean, when you look at his only 15 games played in Charlotte this year. He's averaging almost 9 points a game. But if you go back and look, 22-23 in Phoenix, guy was averaging 7.3 points per game. Now, when you look at his shooting percentage, right? He was averaging 33% that year. Then it went from 30%. Then this past year, finished the year shooting a total of 34% or 34.348%, just under league average. League average 36. He was at 35. Now imagine a player like that who's able to get a few minutes around Jokic. I think he would be super efficient. Not to mention he's a great defender. Going back to something I talked about yesterday, if you want that bench depth and the versatility on the bench where you want to play a defensive lineup, you can now do that with Okogie as well. You can throw him at the 2 if you want. You can throw him at the 3 if you want. He's a pesky defender. I think he's pretty good. Now, he's not going to give you these insane stats, and I don't know realistically what contract he would sign for. I would assume a minimum, being that in Phoenix this last year he only played 14 minutes in the 25 games he was there. In Charlotte he played 18. Now I don't think Denver would offer him that many minutes realistically. I think that it would be a lot less for him. He'd probably be playing anywhere from 6 to 10 in my opinion if Denver were to sign him. But he'd also be fighting for roster spots. So there would be games, or playing time rather, so there'd be games that he probably wouldn't get in at all. So that's something to take into factor, obviously, there, or take into account. But I think that he'd be a good depth piece for Denver. Not that he would be an amazing bench piece where he's our 7-man, but realistically as a 10, 11, 12, 8, 9-man, I'd be fine with Josh Okogie. And there's another guy I'd be fine with, and that is, a young shooting guard, that I've talked about earlier this season, somebody who I would love on Denver, above average 3-point shooter almost every year he's been in the league. He's going on his 4th year, 2 years back to back. He's an above average 3-point shooter, and that is Johnny Juzang. Now, the Jazz have released Juzang. This is something we talked about. I am very surprised he hasn't landed a contract yet. He's a 6'7" shooting guard who is only 24 years old. Now, you're telling me Denver can't try to get him for cheap, lock him down for 3 or 4 years, actually make a difference as a shooting guard, be able to play and get minutes, be a good shooting guard for Denver? I think he could be. Like I said, he was averaging 9 points a game this past year. He, when it came to his 3-point percentage, he shot 37%, almost 38% from 3. Now again, match that with Jokic. The one thing about Johnny Juzang is he's not a fantastic defender. He's not a fantastic playmaker, but that's why it would be smart to sign him now. He's a young player. You can easily develop him realistically, make him into a 3-and-D player if you're able to, and Denver works that zone so he may able to be a better defender. Now, I was reading up on his scouting reports and what he's good at, what he's not good at, and I actually like Johnny Juzang coming out of college. And the main thing that people were saying was the fact that he's not a good in-spark defender, which means that if the ball's getting passed to him right away or he has to pick somebody up, his defense is going to be lacking. Now, I think that's great for Denver's zone. Now, ball goes to his side of the court. He maybe gets one misstep. That the zone attacks that, forces the defender, bring it back out, and now he's back into his defensive position. So I do think he could work in Denver's system. I also think if you bring him in, he's a tall shooting guard, it would be beneficial to have him learn under guys like Bruce Brown, Cam Johnson, Tim Hardaway Jr. when it comes to his defensive side, and also work alongside Peyton Watson, who would be able to actually help him on his defensive game, which I think would be legitimately amazing. And there's something I'm going to talk to in the last topic that's going to get back to Johnny Juzang a little bit. So the next topic I do want to talk about is the fact that they obviously have some lineup depth, but I got a little excited today. Now, I was looking at, obviously what Deron Holmes has really been able to do, and obviously how good Aaron Gordon was this past year. And Denver finally has the opportunity to run big lineups against teams like the Spurs, who are going to be massive, teams like the Timberwolves, who tried to build to beat Jokic, teams like the Mavs, who are going to be a massive team, and I love it. Now, Denver has the opportunity to play Aaron Gordon or Deron Holmes at the 3 and 4. They have the opportunity to play Cam Johnson at the 2, and they could even run Jamal at the 1. But they could also make some subs, and they have Valanciunas and Jokic either or at center. You have Peyton Watson, who can play the 2, 3, 4 in a bigger lineup if you want to, and your defense is still there. If you're running a lineup of Bruce Brown or Jamal at the 1, Peyton Watson, Cam Johnson at the 2, Aaron Gordon and Deron Holmes at the 3, 4, Jokic or Valanciunas at the 5, you are in a set position to actually set yourself up to win and play just about amazing defense. Whether you're in zone, whether you're in man, there's certain teams that Denver can play against where they can play man to probably a T. And one of those teams, I think, is the Clippers. Now, are they going to be able to lock the Clippers down? No, obviously they won't be able to, but a center like Zubac is somebody that you want Jokic or Val to play on when you're in a one-on-one situation. And then you, again, like I said, Aaron Gordon can guard just about anybody. Peyton Watson can guard just about anybody. Cam Johnson's a great defender. Bruce Brown can guard the 1 through 4. Tim Hardaway's an underrated defender. Deron Holmes seems like a good defender on the block. Now, that's where it gets a little tougher. I think that you'd have to play a zone if Deron is going to be in the lineup, in that big lineup with Jokic. But like I said, I think that lineup is special, and they could also all shoot. Even Bruce Brown's not a bad shooter. Cameron Johnson's a good shooter. Deron Holmes has shown that he can shoot lights out. So I think that this lineup actually looks very good and has a lot of potential. Now, going back to what I was just talking about with Johnny Juzang, he is a bigger guard, and obviously Denver has that depth already at the shooting guard small forward position. But it sort of seems like with the lack of conversation out and the lack of any news source or article that's coming out about Denver looking for a backup point guard, it may look like that. It may look like Bruce Brown is the backup 1 for Denver this upcoming year, which makes minutes for guys like Strother available, minutes for guys like Payne Watson available. But I also think that Denver can now bring in more wing depth, and obviously, if they want to bring in another small forward, shooting guard, power forward, but it also gives them the opportunity to bring in another center, whether that be Horford, who I know everybody's saying is going to the Warriors, so I'll leave that alone, or a guy like Boucher now as your third string center, or Amir Coffey as your 3-4, or anybody of that caliber where they want to come in and get them on a vet minimum. Denver now has opportunity to work around guys like that and play Bruce Brown at the backup 1. Anyway, that's all I got for you guys today, Nuggets Nation. Make sure to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. We are 10 at the time of this video, 10 subscribers away from 1,000. So let's hit that 1,000 goal, and I will catch you guys tomorrow.